and we will move straight into questions. I'm going to start with one for everybody. I'm going to move around you one by one, and I would like a fairly tight answer to this question. Really, I think it's quite a one that you can answer relatively neatly. So it's from Emna Jaluli, and the question is, it's a bit of a leading one, really. Can we say that by refusing the harm reduction concept, the World Health Organization is hiding information for smokers? Are the World Health Organization blocking the reduction in the number of smokers? Are they stopping people from stopping smoking? So that question first to you, Fiona.
Yes. It's, I mean, no, it's absolutely true. And I think, I think there has been some progress made at WHO, but certainly not recognising harm reduction in this area is, and when it's in the basis of their framework, it is nothing short of deceptive.
Thank you, Fiona. Over to you, Marina. What would you say to that? Marina, we need you off mute. Thank you.
On the same question, the answer is yes to all. Actually, I don't think it needs further elaboration. At least from a legal standpoint, it's stated in the convention. So.
Thank you, Chimwemwe. I think we are maybe possibly missing Chimwemwe, so we will carry it on straight to Martin. What would be your view on that?
Well, I agree with Fiona. I mean, it's I think that's just said everything that I would agree with. I think, yeah.
Excellent. Okay. In which case, Marina, I'm going to go to you, and given where we are at with the FCTC, I wonder if you could briefly tell us, sort of going back to what Martin has been saying about increasing the consumer voice, what do you think advocates can do to make the FCTC more transparent, to make the COP more transparent? Have you got any specific advice that you could give to those of us, those members of the audience who are advocates on that point?
Well, look, from the standpoint of World Health Organization, it's quite difficult to take consumers organizations on board. Because they also ask for the disclosure of the funding. So if the organization can prove it has nothing to do with the tobacco industry, eventually there is a chance or some hope for them to be included in the process. If, however, there is some remote funding link to tobacco industry, there is no chance, I think, for them to be then accepted there as stakeholders. And then in those cases, they just probably need to redefine the objectives. Rather than wanting to sit there at the table, just look at other ways people may be vocal. For example, just being on the internet, providing research, sharing research, and trying to be vocal in other ways. So that's my answer.
Thank you, Marina. Fiona, I'm going to go to you. This is a direct question in terms of Australia. We've had a question from Emma Ward asking, to what extent have the Australian prohibitive regulations resulted in an illicit black market for vaping products? And what do you think the risks are associated with this?
Absolutely, we have handed this market, this growing market, over to the black market, to an illicit market, and that hands over any health controls or any regulations or any ways to reduce harm. So yes, we don't know the devices. We don't have any information about the types of products that can be sold. For the most part, because, as Martin says, the demand from the consumer and that consumer is an educated consumer. So that probably tempers that. But we hear about tragic poisonings from nicotine juices that have been left out and children have taken them. Now, we could control that. We could ensure that they had child-safe packaging, that there was safety, provisions if we regulated the product, but we don't. So we leave it to the grey market, we leave it to the black market, we leave it to vapers to have to purchase their products from overseas, and that cuts out the Australian government, state governments, from any form of control or regulation.
Thank you very much, Fiona. Now I'd like to go to Chimwemwe. Hi, Chim. This is a question from Richard Pruen, and he's asking, I think something that came up in your presentation, whether it's true that low and middle income countries are unable to regulate tobacco harm reduction options, or is that perhaps a kind of form of hidden prejudice to suggest that? What would be your take on that?
All right, would you please repeat the last part of your question?
Sure. I think that the core of the question is, Chim, is it true that low and middle income countries are unable to regulate tobacco harm reduction products, or is this a possibility?
All right, so mainly I think that low and middle income countries are failing to come out clear to tackle the issues of tobacco harm reduction, because knowledge on tobacco harm reduction in most low and middle income countries is still in the early stages as compared to higher income countries. On top of that, we have a problem where some people tend to misinform the governments in most low and middle income countries, which makes the governments to become a little reluctant in tackling the issue of regulating or diving into tobacco harm reduction really. Maybe because it's also a very new concept. Tobacco harm reduction is a new concept in most low and middle income countries. That is why we are taking things slowly. We are on a slow pace. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chimwemwe. I'm sorry, everybody. I am going to have to draw our session to a close to enable our technical team to set things up for our next session. So I know there are plenty of questions that haven't been asked. I'm sorry that I haven't managed to engage all of you as much as I would like in discussion. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us today for the launch. We are delighted to have heard such engaging presentations from you all from different points of view, giving us a real insight and beginning of that context setting, the scene setting that we really wanted to open today's launch. So please, everybody, grab a cup of coffee if you have time, and then be back with us in about 5 minutes time, for 5 to 10 minutes time, for the launch of for the second part of the launch of Burning Issues. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.